But
Kevin
I've had
Nealon.
the bag implants under my eyes.
What do
I
you
think
have?
it's bag implants.
I would.
So they look
I put my bag implants clearly are in there. I got butthole eyes all day. Me and Pete Davidson have the same. We're both from the same hometown.
Right,
we both
man.
have the same butthole eyes.
Are you from Staten Island?
I am. Yeah.
Jeez,
Isn't that crazy?
that is crazy.
My father, I tell this all the time. My father's 75 years old, full head of jet black hair. Gave me nothing but his butthole eyes. Yeah, didn't give me his hairline, didn't give me his hair, didn't give me anything. Just gave me butthole eyes. My brother, that son of a bitch, has been shaving his head into a crew cut since he was like 5 years old, and then in his 40s, one day comes in with a full head of hair. I go, "Where'd that come from?" And he's like, "Oh, I just felt like growing it out." I'm like, "Yeah, but how do you have it? How come I don't have it and you have it?" So my brother got my father's hair. Me, nothing.
Oh, you have a sister?
I do. She's got my hairline. No, I'm just kidding. She's got a full head of hair.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Let me ask you this.
Let me ask you this.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
Did you see the movie
I
that
didn't
Jason
see that.
Reitman did?
No.
Why would you not watch that?
I started watching it on a plane, and I thought, I've been through all this.
And it didn't make you happy to watch it?
Well, I only watched like a few minutes of it.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of running around and stuff, and last minute with the show's coming on, we got to do that, and that's fine. I think it's great. A lot of people enjoyed it, and maybe I'll watch it, the whole thing, sometime. But right now, during all this stuff, I just didn't feel like would be that interested in it. It was the same when Tom Hanks came out with that show Punchline, or the movie Punchline, and it wasn't that authentic. They have lockers. They show lockers backstage.
That's what everyone points out. Every comedian points it out. They're like, yeah, they don't have lockers.
Although I will tell you, I did a strip club in Anchorage, Alaska once.
Right.
Not as a dancer. Not as a dancer.
Oh.
But they were trying comedy. And how do you know they have lockers?
My brother owns
backstage?
too.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
We'll talk later. But, so we go up to Alaska. I went with Bob Saget.
Yeah.
And we go to the strip club. So the strippers strip. And then around 6 o'clock, they start the show, or 7, without any break. It's like the strippers are doing it. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Nealon.
Oh.
They think I'm a stripper.
Right.
But it's the same audience. It's the guys out there from the pipeline with their flannel shirts.
Yeah.
And
is it hard? Do they find you funny?
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
And nobody wants to see a guy, no matter how funny he is, doing comedy when I'm there to see naked girls.
Well, I did open up my buttons a couple of buttons down.
You can be sexy. I knew you could be sexy. I knew you had it.
But, yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the few times I bombed. The other time I bombed at for Marines at Camp Pendleton.
Oh, really?
They were 18. The ones that were 18 and 19. It was the single ones, because they did a show for the married couple,
right?
And then this one, they didn't even know who I was.
Yeah.
They're looking at their phone the whole time. God bless them. But yeah, those two times.
Were you tight with Saget?
Yeah.
Saget has been on the show a bunch of times. He was the first person to come in here when we started doing the show from the home studio.
Oh,
he was the first guest that we had in here. Yeah, I mean, a long time, and I've been a fan for a long time of his since before he blew up, before Full House. Does it bother you, or maybe you are privy to information? I still sit there and feel like there's so many questions about his death that I don't know if people don't want them answered, or if, like, as a friend of his, maybe you know more than I do, and I'm not trying to pressure you to talk about anything, but to me it seems so open-ended. Like, I still think about it now. I'm like, how are we letting this go? Like, it seems like there was foul play. It seems like there was something going on. I mean, the guy had a massive
room service.
He had a massive head injury, and everybody's just going to chalk it up to him falling, but he was in bed, and it just doesn't seem right. Does it settle right to you, or maybe you know other?
I don't know. He had a massive head injury.
That was what was relayed. Wasn't that the story that he had?
I thought they assumed he hit his head on something.
I thought he had a head injury, enough to contribute to his death.
I heard he had a harpoon through his chest. I don't know if that's true or not.
A lot of stories out there.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. It's whenever I stayed at Ritz-Carlton in Florida, though, I think about him.
You did? Yeah.
I wonder if that's, But he was, I did a hike with him. I have that little hiking show, hiking with Kevin. And I hiked with him, and I'm playing it back, thinking, man, I remember this like it was yesterday. And then Carl Weathers, same thing. He died like 8 months after my hike.
It's 8 months after your?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Maybe less. Yeah, it's just when you think about that, you can be gone so quickly.
Yeah. Oh, I think about it all the time.
Oh, he had just been in here like two weeks prior.
Yeah, because he was here and then went to Orlando.
Yeah.
And that's where he passed away. Yeah, it was really sad. Because because we liked him, and I got to the point with him, and I was like, oh, if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to. And he was like, no, I definitely want to do it. And that made me so happy because I knew he didn't have to, you know.
Yeah. We have the sign out there.
So we got the Bob Saget Memorial Green Room outside. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a little chubby. And my wife made me go on a hike this past Thanksgiving, and we were in the mountains.
She's trying to kill you.
She's trying to kill me. Yeah, exactly. And I said to her, I said, listen, I'm not, I'll do it, but I'm not hiking up and all this stuff. And she's like, no, it's a path. And you know, in the mountain. And I was like, all right. Halfway through, I was like, I'm stuck because I can't go back because I'm halfway through now and I'm like miserable. And the entire time I'm thinking about you. And I thought, if you now told me I have to interview somebody while I'm trying to do this, is the worst possible thing I could think of.
Yeah.
But I imagine you do it a lot more often. You're out there hiking in the hills.
I do it, but as I get older, each year the incline becomes less and less.
Yeah.
Now it's pretty much walking on a trail.
Right.
But I'll tilt the camera sideways.
Give us the illusion of a hike.
Yeah. Well, you know, the hiking show came about when I was hiking with Matthew Modine, a friend of mine, and we were just hiking up a really steep canyon. We're both out of breath,
right?
And we're talking to each other, and it was very like, so when you came to Hollywood, did you know? Yeah. And I thought this would be funny to tape. It's like an interview show.
Yeah.
So I held my phone out there and I taped it, and then on the way down the other side of the canyon, I asked him some serious questions. I said, Matt, you ever turned down anything that you regretted? He goes, oh my God, after Full Metal Jacket. I turned down Back to the Future, Wall Street with Charlie Sheen. I turned down Big, the Tom Hanks role. Wow. I'm like, you idiot. Yeah. And I kind of like posted them on Twitter, like 2-minute little interstitials.
Right.
And then I was doing Howard Stern once. He goes, you should do that on like a longer thing on YouTube. And so I started doing that. But yeah, so I don't really hike the really steep stuff anymore.
Do it. Yeah. Who have you had on?
Plus, I've
had been some of your better guests, like your favorite guests, or.
Well, there's been a lot of favorite ones.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick the worst or the favorite, but I recently Tom Hanks.
Oh, really?
Was fun.
How tight are you with Tom Hanks that you get him to go take a hike with you?
Well, I've known Tom Hanks forever.
Yeah,
since SNL, and what happened?
How does that go? Do your people call his people, or do you just text Tom Hanks?
I'm my people.
Yeah,
I
got
people. I everything I do is by myself on that show. I cast it. I film it with a selfie stick.
Right.
I have a drone I fly now.
Really?
Yeah. And then I edit it when I get home. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, that's it, man. I can't do this anymore. And then someone will come up to say, I love that hiking show. I said, all right, well, I'll give you another one or two. So yeah, Tom Hanks was great. Conan O'Brien's always fun.
He's great.
We have a lot of fun together. Bryan Cranston was fun. I was a big fan of Breaking Bad.
Sure.
So when he said he would do it. But Tom Hanks, here was the thing with him. I called JB Smoove.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him if he would do the hike, and she said, "Well, he's in New York." And she said, "How about Tom Hanks?" I thought, "Yeah, I wish." And she goes, "Yeah, no, he's coming back in a day or two. I'll ask him." And he said, "Sure," because I hiked with his wife, Ruth Wilson, a couple of years earlier, and we were friends. So so he shows up, and we did the hike, and I have to pinch myself and say, hiking with Tom Hanks.
Is there anything about Tom Hanks that we wouldn't like? Like I can't. Over the years,
horrible body odor.
Oh, I knew it.
Terrible.
Does anybody pass you on the trail and go, "Did I just see Tom Hanks?"
Yes, I've seen it on on the show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
they recognize him. The worst was Jack Black because he got recognized. We went on a weekend, which is a mistake. Everybody's out hiking.
Also,
10
you're trying
yards.
to kill Jack Black. He's not a hiker.
No, he's not.
If you called me, I'd be like, I love you, Kevin, but I'm not walking up a mountain with you. Yeah,
he was still on the trail.
Yeah,
when I left. But no, he was in pretty good shape. We actually did a little duet coming down by Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, and so he was good. But someone like Spade, worst hiker in the world. No, it took me like 2 years to get him to come. And he goes, all right, but it's got to be between traffic hours. I'm not getting stuck in traffic. I said, okay, and it can't be a hill. It's got to be flat.
Oh my!
I said, all right, and I need food because I'm hypoglycemic. I said, whatever you want to do. And we get there and we hike. I found the flattest trail ever.
Yeah.
And we're hiking, and all of a sudden he stops. He goes, "Are we going uphill right now?" There's a 1% grade.
No,
you could barely tell.
Show you were doing it all, and then it got picked up, right? What's another?
Fox Nation.
Yeah, Fox Nation.
It's,
wow. They licensed 10 of the shows.
That's great.
Yeah. So and then they're gonna see how it goes, and if it goes well, they'll do more.
Good for you. That's awesome.
I always loved doing it. It didn't matter if I get paid or not.
Right,
I just like doing it, and
Yeah.
I wanted to learn how to edit and all that stuff. And
who wouldn't love to just take a walk with Tom Hanks? Like I mean, and Matthew Modine and David Spade. I mean,
and you're gonna have questions.
Yeah.
I asked him what was his most popular line that's quoted from his films. And
Spade or Hanks?
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Oh, Wilson." I said, "No, I don't think so." He goes, "What would it be?" I said, "What?"
Can I guess?
Yeah.
No crying in baseball?
No.
Oh.
See, he's got a lot.
Yeah.
He's got a lot.
I would think Forrest Gump, something Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Box
It
of
was-
chocolates?
Yeah. Mom always said, and so I had him do that line, but with an English accent.
This is easily the best part of me doing the show is talking to people, and they don't always have to be famous people. I am very interested in the way people's minds work and the long. So I love that I appreciate you coming in here today.
I'm happy to come in here. It's good to see you again.
Yeah,
I'm glad you don't have an air gun anymore.
No air gun, no surprises, no Wolverine will attack you.
And you're not a morning zoo anymore.
I'm not a morning zoo. No.
By the way, we brought you up the other day because you were there when they were talking about our pensions, and you were waiting to come in, and you came in and told us what our pension was. You were like, "You guys have a pretty good pension."
That was the first time we ever had you on. So we went mornings, afternoon, mornings, and we were doing mornings. He had just gotten here, joined the show. You were waiting in the lobby, and they had a meeting about our pension plan, and we couldn't go in the meeting. And you came in the studio, like Galvin said, and you were like, "You guys are in good shape with that pension out there." You guys it was you and Chris Jericho and a pair of mother-daughter midgets. That was the first time that were on the show.
I remember that.
And they were
strippers
running
or
through your
something?
legs. They were mother-daughter stripper midgets. Yeah.
That's
You're
not,
right. We
that's
were
not
a morning zoo.
at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Well, you know, I
A
was talking
professional
about
wrestler.
strip club in Anchorage. That's where I first met those strippers.
Who is coming up? Anybody coming up on the hiking show that you're excited about?
Nobody's coming
No?
up. I'm doing a
You're
little
on
bit
hiatus
slower this
there?
year because it took up so much time. I got to do other things now because I have 5 films coming out this year.
What do you have?
Well, Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sequel
Oh,
to
that's gonna
that.
be great.
Now, hold on a second. We are very worried about this
Why?
because most of these long-awaited sequels stink. You know, you wait like Coming to America 2 and all that stuff. So how do you feel about Happy Gilmore 2?
Well, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I read the script.
Yeah.
It's good, and they got so many stunt casting in there.
So much, yeah. That's
Every
the thing.
professional golfer.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even tell you all the people in there because I guess they're trying to keep it quiet. But I think it'll be great.
Adam Sandler ever buy you a car or any of that stuff for being in his movies? I hear he does that.
He did that with Grown Ups, I think, with
Grown
Spade
Ups,
and
yeah.
some of those guys, Maseratis.
Must
I
be
did a commercial once where they gave me 3 Mercedes, right, as a payment.
right. 3.
3 of those little sports car Mercedes. I didn't want those Mercedes. And if I got them, I'd have to pay the tax on them and everything.
So what did you do?
I sold them
Oh yeah.
before I even got them.
Yeah.
And I said, just give me the money,
Yeah.
And the money I sold as well.
That's. I mean, you wouldn't keep one and sell the other 2.
I already had a car.
Yeah,
You know.
I guess you're right.
And he's 6'4". He's not fitting in.
That's
a
true.
Mercedes.
That is hard. Surprisingly, a Volkswagen has a lot of room.
A Volks? Is that what you're driving?
No,
Oh,
but I thought about it.
what do you drive? What is your
I
everyday
have
drive?
an electric car now.
You do?
It's
What
a
kind?
Tesla.
It is.
It's in the shop now. We're having a gas engine put in it. But no, seriously, it's a great car. It's a great car. I love it. But you know what? It's a little bit too low for me,
Yeah.
and I'd probably want to support another car company.
Yeah.
But
You're making the switch.
I think so.
Yeah.
Going back to gas.
Yeah.
I'll show them. But it's hard to get in and out of too. It's low. It's
I
really
know.
low.
My son had one. I didn't. Every time I got in, my shoulder would knock the piece off above the seatbelt. There was like a little bit. And I'd hit it, and I was just too big for that car.
Wait, your son drives?
My son, yes, he'll be 19 in August.
Okay, because the driving age in LA
Oh,
is
it's
31.
It's 16 here.
Yeah, it is 16.
My son
rather.
has been driving since he was 12.
Oh my god.
We had a Target closed down, and I used to take him to the Target parking lot and just let him just drive around. I wanted him to be, just be familiar with it because nobody ever did that with me. My second drive was my driver's test. So
wow.
yeah.
Really?
Well, I had driver's ed, but then my first time I was driving by myself was my driver's ed test. Nobody ever took me driving, so I wanted him to be comfortable with it. So by the time he was 14, I was like, "Hey, run the Starbucks for me." He just had it. He was in good shape. So now I don't have to worry about him on the road when he does the stuff.
Oh yeah, my son doesn't want to drive. He's
He
got his
doesn't.
license, but he doesn't want to drive.
But you're in LA. Well, I
We're
guess
in LA,
not.
and we live right by Sunset Boulevard, which
Yeah.
is like a speed track, And I keep telling him, and I tell my wife, I said, he's got to drive.
Yeah.
He's got to get out there and drive because I'd rather have him drive than drive with one of his friends who I don't know or an Uber driver
Right.
who we don't know. I was in I was in an Uber driver, and the guy almost crashed twice.
I was in one in New Orleans. I got in a car accident.
Really?
Yeah, my buddy Pete hates New Orleans. I love New Orleans. My buddy Pete hates it. It's dirty. It's rainy, and he's like, I hate it here. We get in there, and 5 minutes later, our Uber smashes into another one. He looks at me and goes, I hate it. I hate everything about this city. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass when that happens.
Well, I've never been in an accident in my life.
Yeah,
me driving one accident, but it didn't go on my police record because hit and run.
Fast moving. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I should tell everybody you're going to be at Sidesplitters this weekend.
Yes.
960-1197 with Dennis Regan.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. I know Goblin likes him and his brother a lot.
Yeah.
I've worked in town before, but it was in Ybor City.
Yes,
I think it was an improv.
It was an improv at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a party town right there.
Yeah. This is a lot calmer.
It's in like a strip mall.
It's in a strip mall. It's the same because it's in a strip mall, but it's a very nice club. And most comedians, they run this pretty good video before that you'll probably never see, but they run it before you come on stage. And it's all these different comedians on podcasts talking about how much they love playing that club,
right?
Because it's got the low ceilings and it's just old school comedy club, you know.
Okay.
To me, we go to that improv in Ybor, and I which is a Funny Bone now, and we go there, and I go, this place is magnificent. It's a 3-story theater, and I'm like, I love it. Comics are like, I hate it here. It's too big, and it's too high, and it's too much. I don't know. Then they go to Sidesplitters, which has been there since the 80s, and I'm like, low ceilings and stupid fake brick wall they used to have and all that stuff, and everybody's like, we love this place. This is
really?
a pillbox. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to playing there. I've never played there before.
And I think you only have one show that has tickets available. I think the rest of them are selling out super fast.
What am I doing here?
That's what I said. We
Get up.
So I had said I had bugged Gio like 3 times. I really would like Kevin Nealon to come in. And he goes, I don't know. I think he's only got one show that's got tickets available.
If I knew it was you, I would have been here right away without even questioning it. But
do you remember last time we were here? We brought a banjo in for you to
wait a minute. Was I here before in this?
Not
house?
in this room.
Okay.
Not in this room. No. This was our post-COVID studio.
Okay.
When COVID, everybody was operating from different locations, and then all of a sudden, I was like, "We're never going back."
Is this your house?
This is my house.
This used to be the meat locker.
This was the meat locker, and this was actually my air conditioning / gun room over here. Now we have a full studio next door.
That's nice, man. That's nice. I'll tell you one thing about these clubs, though. They play the video sometimes before. I think that's a novel idea to play what people think about the club. But when they play bits of comedians' acts, like before, like there's like 4 comics, and different, and you're thinking, oh my God, that's my joke.
Yeah.
He took my joke or whatever.
Oh,
They're doing the same area.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
And then by the time you get out there, they're sick of comics.
Well, and also sometimes they have guys coming. Like for this club's got a good streak of famous comedians coming, but I've been to clubs sometimes where like next week Flappy Wilson, and you're like, who the hell's Flappy Wilson?
By the way, I'm looking on Sidesplitters' website, and you have about 5 seats left.
Oh,
yeah, out of all the shows.
I'm thankful you didn't know that.
Should have charged more.
Yeah. Well, those 5 seats will be really expensive.
Well, I'm at that verge now where, not verge, but I'm at that point where I'm thinking, I wish I could just play a theater one night and get everybody in that theater at the same time. Instead of sticking around to do 4
Why
shows.
don't you do that? A lot of comedians say that. I feel like you can do that.
Well, like I said, I'm at that point now where it might work, it may not work. When you go to a club, they have a mailing list.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of people that are used to the club. But yeah, there's a lot of comics now that are filling up arenas, and that's something I could do. I just don't want to do it. I don't like big crowds.
You know, keep it to the.
I like the
keep it to the strip malls. I guess you. I know how it goes.
I like my favorite audience is a dinner party. Just around the table.
Everybody's paying attention to anything. They're eating their
It's just
lamb
right there. They're eating, and I'm just doing all my material. And
there is a club in there's a couple of clubs in Florida, in South Florida, Vasani's, which is a really nice club and a really nice restaurant. And I just always, every time a comic goes up there, a good comic, the first thing they do is they're like, "What do you got? Chicken parm?" Like it's so distracting that they're sitting there eating while you're doing it. I can't imagine it.
I know it. It's and usually it's all that crap food.
Yeah.
It's
pretzel sticks and
deep fried cheese, and, tostadas,
and basket of popcorn. That's all you get.
A basket of deep fried popcorn.
Deep fried popcorn is all you get.
Yeah, and then it used to have the blender when you worked in these clubs. They had the bar
right there,
the blender going. That's when I knew I had to get off SNL after 9 years. I was doing and I was ready to move on.
Yeah.
I was going out and doing sketches with food in my mouth still.
Right.
Craft service table. I'm picking food out of my mouth. I was doing a sketch.
Yeah.
And then I come back to my dressing room. All my friends are in there. They got the blender. They're making margaritas. They're jammed in there. It's a small dress room, and they got some other show on. They're not even watching.
Can I ask you one more question about that? And I'm not trying to be too specific, but
right.
were you rich after, like,
No.
say, after 7 years?
No,
you were not making.
They don't make a lot of money.
They
on that
don't,
show.
right? Like, I know we've had certain actors in here before that have worked there that told, because I lived in New York and I know how much it costs to live there in a decent place.
Yeah,
And you have to be. I mean, if you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're living in a decent place in New York. You got to make a lot of money to live in a nice place.
well, that's what Lorne Michaels said. He goes, "Don't spend your money on an apartment because you want to be comfortable when you go back there."
Yeah.
And we weren't making a lot of money. We spent most of the money on an apartment. But back then, I had
Was it you and Jan?
No, we never
No.
lived together.
Oh, okay. So who did you
I
live
lived with me.
Oh, you were solo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it was difficult to live with myself back then.
Right.
But so eventually, after my like 6th year, I got a nice federal style townhouse down in the West Village,
Right.
and it was 2 stories, 4 fireplaces, high ceiling, it was like the Friends apartment.
Yeah. You're making money at that point.
But no, I'm not making money.
Right.
All my money's going to that apartment.
To the apartment,
But it's
yeah.
only $4,000 a month at the time.
Yeah.
So
Which is fantastic.
it was a lot of money
Yeah.
back then, though.
But yeah, living in the West Village and paying $4,000 a month for 2 stories, that's you'd never get that now.
4 fireplaces.
Yeah,
It was great. So yeah, I spent all my money, and nobody really made any money. And people thought you were rich because you were on that show.
Right.
And I mean, if you never got a job after that show, you would be doing like some minimum wage job somewhere.
Yeah.
Just to kind of pay the rent. So, but I remember Lauren would say, we pay the writers more because you guys are going to go on and do big things,
Right.
movies and stuff. You got a great career. But the writers, they're just going to keep writing. So we pay them actually a little bit more than you guys. And then cut to 20 years later, Conan O'Brien,
Yeah.
Greg Daniels from The Office, writers,
Smigel.
Smigel. They pull up in their limo. Hey, Mr. O'Brien, can I get a ride? But
That's so funny.
that's the way it is.
All right. I know you have to go. Well, we have to go too. All right.